So, so anyway, let's get. Shut up, Mutt. So, anyway, I can't mute myself. God, as soon as I started recording, right? The other dog, Sammy's just laying there going, I don't know what she's barking at. So, but anyway, so let's get going. So this is a third session of, like I said, the other two sessions of email and calendar and contacts are all on the sidebar. If you just click on the menu webinar, it'll take you to a page with a link to the recorded session, previous sessions. And also, just like any of the, the group calls, they're all online. One of them didn't record one day, so that's not on there. So there's actually two calls that never made the website. The first one I didn't record, and then one of the ones where I forget which one it was. But according to the feedback, it was probably my best call, and it didn't get recorded. So, oh well. So anyway, let's get going. Today I'm going to talk about Google Drive, and then I'm going to go Google Drive, and I'm going to do maybe some add-ons, right? Some Google Drive or Google applications, third-party plugin type of stuff. So let's see. So anyway, so the first thing, if you can see my screen, I'm assuming everybody can see my screen, right? So this is my demo account, or what's called Want More Leads. I mean, it's a live account. The email address, the email address that I receive in my main email client, aubrey.net. So, I don't go in here much. But so anyway, so the first thing you look at, I mean, those of you who've been with Aubrey & Associates for any time period, you'll be very familiar with what a Google Drive it looks like. But one of the things, and then go using the chat box, right? Has everybody used the chat box before? So here, hello, right? So I just typed hello to everybody. So there's your chat box, right? So send me a chat or send me a yes or no if you've actually downloaded Google Drive to your hard drive to where you can keep files on your hard drive that synchronize to your Google Drive in the cloud. So have you done that, yes or no? So just type the word yes or no in that little chat box. Kind of curious. No. Anybody else? Amy, Scott? Oh, wait, Lonnie's. There we go. Scott, yes. How about you, Amy? Amy, yes. Okay. And Lonnie just joined in. Lonnie, the question we asked is, have you downloaded and installed Google Drive to your hard drive to where you can keep files in it? Just so you can just answer yes in the chat box. God damn, folks. So you can answer. Hold on a second. I don't know how to mute, but I'm gonna shoot the dogs. So anyway, so I'll just keep going. I apologize for the disruptions. I'm very, I try to be very cognizant of it, but there's nothing I can do. I'm strapped to the computer. So anyway, so let's get going. So if you have not installed it to your hard drive, so if you go up in the upper right-hand corner, right, you'll see a gear, and that it'll say settings, right? So you can say download drive. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a screen, and it's going to have you download for a PC, right? So if you download that and install it on your hard drive, it will function like a Dropbox system where you could drag files in there, and then it will synchronize to your hard drive. Or, and that's the cool part. So you don't even have to log in. You can just keep files on your hard drive, and then and then the company has it. So if you put a file in your folder, then the company automatically has it. So that's pretty handy. Now, it is a little buggy sometimes. You have to down in your bottom tray, which you don't see on mine because this is the other screen, right? So my other screen. So my other screen has the bottom tray. I wonder if I can move that over, right? Yeah, so there it is. I can move it over. So if you see down there, I have the icon that says sync. Every once in a while, you have to kind of reboot it, if you will. So you just right-click on it, And then if you say and if you right click on it, then you click on those dots, you have kind of a menu here, right? Anytime you see those dots, it's kind of a menu type thing. So that's been kind of Google's new thing. So you can quit Drive, things like that. You can pause it. You can do preferences. So your preferences are, it keeps opening up on the other side. So you can sync. It tells you what you can sync everything, sync only these folders. So you can share. So if you want to just create a shared folder with me where you just sync, certain things, that's fine too. Then there's your account advanced, and then there's some advanced features in there, and then you can apply it and hit OK. So that's kind of that part of it. And if you can't find it to start it, you just click your start button. If it's not in here, these are your kind of recent files. And if you can't find it, then just click on all files, scroll down to Google Drive, and then just go ahead and click on it, and the Google Drive application. So Google Drive is a web cloud-based storage, but it's also an application you install on your computer. The application on your computer is a synchronization tool that will synchronize a hard drive folder to your cloud-based folder. So that's kind of it. So that's that portion of it. If you don't have it done, I recommend it, but be cognizant that it's not updated. Every once in a while, if you feel like it's like, hey, something's not right, just double check. What I would do is, when in doubt, reboot, right? So when in doubt, just turn the thing off, and then, close it down and restart it. Sometimes restarting your computer, obviously, that always helps, right? That's one of the first questions you learn to ask in tech support. Have you rebooted your computer? So anyway, so let's get going. So that's kind of how you install it on their computer. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry from that. If you're using it from your desktop, you just use a simple folder on your desktop. It will be synchronized with whatever's in it. So whatever you already have in your Google Drive folder in the cloud, when you install it, will download to your computer. So unless unless you search certain folders, if you just do certain folders, then obviously only those will synchronize to your computer. So anyway, so that's that. So that's that portion of it. One of the things that's required of Aubrey & Associates, I share a folder with you, and then it's called clients and then your name, right? So clients, and then it'll have your name. And then so when someone shares a folder with you, you will get an email. When you get an email, you can either click on the email and see the folder, but you need to add that folder to your drive. And then till you add it to your drive, it's not going to synchronize properly. So the first thing you do is either, if you go into shared with me, so that's where the file is, right? So if it's in shared with me, and it shows I'm the owner, Rob Aubrey, so I don't know which account that would be, if this one. So this one says move. So obviously it's already been added to my drive, right? So one more leads. If it were not added to my drive, let's see, let me find one real quick. Maybe it wasn't. See, this one here was not previously added to my drive. So when you right click on a folder, so the first time someone shares it with you, you right click on it, and then you right click, and then it says add to my drive. When you choose add to my drive, then it will, I'm not going to do it, so I'll keep that one for demonstrations. So in this one here, add to my drive, right? So when you add that to my drive, so act like this one right here is easy client sample. So that's already been added. So when I go to my drive, it's now going to show up there. So it's not going to show up in here until you go to add to my drive, and then until you go to shared, right click, add to my drive. Once you do that, it will now be part of your drive, your main drive, even though I'll be the owner. So when you come over here, it'll still show, see, me is showing the owner as me, the logged in person, and then Rob Aubrey, meaning rob@aubrey.net email account, is the owner of those files that I shared. So these have all been shared and moved over. So any thoughts, questions on that, how to share or how to get a shared thing and move it over? So especially if you're sharing with a client, right, it's a handy little bugger to just say, hey, share. So if you share, and the way you share with people is you just so once you have a folder, if you want to share with a client, you just right click, and then you can either get shareable link or just hit share, and then you can add their email address. If you add and then you can give them rights. I don't give them edit rights. I just give them view rights. I don't want clients in there editing files. and deleting things willy-nilly. So I just put can view, and then I add their email address, hit done. Then you have advanced, right? So then you have advanced. You can change the settings, right? So private only you can access, and anybody you emailed, right? So then you hit change off specific people. That means people you sent their email on anyone and one more leads. So if you own a domain and you have multiple people registered inside your domain, say you own 123.com and you have someone that works for you, with you, or for you, with you, whatever, and then you have agent at 123.com, admin at 123.com, then you could turn this on, and then there'll be anyone at One More Leads who has the link can access it. Then you put on anyone at One More Leads can find and access. And then anyone with a link, so this one here, you can just send a link, and then this one here is public, so you can make files public on the internet. So, if they're public on the internet, then anybody can find them, and they'll actually be, if they're documents that have text, then they'll actually get indexed for search engine ranking. So if you had a Word document, you can do. Now remember, you can put everything online, right? So these are just. So Google Drive is a little more than just a file folder sharing system. It's actually like a suite of like Office applications, right? So that's it. So we're going to share. You type in the client's name in there and you hit enter, right? So just hit done. So before we go deeper into those, so here's what I do. I have clients folders, and then the way I keep it, I put my clients in there. Then when I have a client in there, I try to go in there and create agency, contract, miscellaneous picks, right? So that would be a listing. So in here, so if I have the agency contract, if it is a listing, so normally, and this is the way I do it now, you're not required to do it this way. However, this is years of me being anally organized and efficient, right? Remember that. I am an efficient guy. So I strive, I work hard at being efficient. It is things I obsess with. So take heed and just say, hey, you know what? Maybe it's worth looking at. It's clunky in the beginning, but after a while, you say, hey, geez, I'm pretty efficient. So typically what I do in here, if it's a listing, I keep the listing contract. You see there's nothing in there. I keep the listing contract, and I keep the seller disclosures in there, right? So the seller disclosure is only signed by the seller, because until the buyer signs it, once the buyer signs it, it's now Repsy. But because it's only signed by the seller, it's now just a disclosure. So then when you have a contract, right, you get a contract, you can open this up and you can have all kinds of files, right? You can have, offer, then signed by seller, addendum 2, addendum 3, and then the seller disclosures, so you want to put the disclosures in here, but you only want to keep the contract in here. And then I recommend there's a PDF Mergy. There's a free tool, PDF Mergy. Just Google it, and I think you install it on your, I think you just install it as a Chrome extension to work. But that's a free version of compiling files. So the key is, every day spend 5 minutes merging files together, so that when you open up your folder, you don't have 42 PDFs in there. So, and then I get rid of things. So if you say you have a blank file, you send it out to get signed by the seller, it comes back signed. Now you have 2 copies, right? One blank, one signed by the seller. Then it comes back signed by the buyer. Now you have 3, but only one of them's a contract. So I either delete the others or I throw them over in miscellaneous just to get them out of the contract folder. Because in here, you only want either the one you're waiting for, or either the one you're waiting for, or what do you call it? Or the fully executed, right? So then just keep merging them as you go. So at the end of the contract, when it's time to submit, you should only have to merge 2 files, right? Your agency contract and the contract, because this should all be done, the contract, right? I mean, that's just how I do it. So then you got pictures, if you got a listing, you can put your picture folders in there. And then remember, because I share domain, clients, Rob Aubrey, whatever, I have access to whatever you put in here, I have access to. So, and then, so that way I have the ability, and that keeps us compliant. Now, I've come to the realization that 100% compliant 100% of the time is probably unlikely. that does not mean we don't strive for it at all times. So, 100% meaning you put a contract in there the second you received it. And we understand it takes a day or two. That's fine. So, the division's okay with that kind of stuff. So anyway, so that's kind of how that, just a way of organizing. Then now you can go into the client's folder and say, you can right click this and go share, and then you could share this with the client. Now what I've learned is, and then you can log in and you can right click this and share it with the escrow officer, the real estate agent on the other side of the transaction, the loan officer. I find that they don't use it. So, whether to do it or not. But if you share the whole thing with the client and you email them and say, I shared it with you, so have a double record stating, or send them a text message and everything so that you can say, I shared it with you. Therefore, you are compliant as far as, you've given them a copy of everything. If they elect not to go in and log in, well, that's on them, but we've provided them with a copy of the whole contract. Every stinking document, they have access to it. So they cannot say they did not receive it. So that's another reason why to do it. It makes you compliant not only with the company, but it makes you compliant with the law. So that's saying that you didn't get, giving your clients copies of the file. So anyway, so that's a good reason to do that. Let's see. Put your hand over the phone, stay on your pillow, whoever's ringing, right? So, somebody hit ignore. Anyway, so that's kind of where, how we'd use these. Any questions, thoughts? You got the chat box, or if you're not muted, go ahead and, ask questions if you need any questions as we go. No. Okay. So that's very simple, cut and dry. And then, and obviously using the company website, some of the files that I share, like folder or files, listing contracts and stuff like that, that is literally a publicly shared, well, it's not publicly shared. It's only people with a link. The link is on the website. If you log into the website, then you have access to the link. So it's not actually public, anybody with a link, but the link's on the site and you have to have access, have a password to access those. So anyway, but that literally all that is a Google Drive folder shared on a website. So thoughts, questions, concerns? So anyway, so I'd like to dive in real quick into, if anybody doesn't have any questions on Drive. So what we covered so far was, calendar, contacts, email, and Drive. There's other applications. Google Voice, most of you don't use Google Voice. If you do, and you'd like to learn a little more about it, see me, and then maybe I'll just sit down with one or two of you and just kind of do that. But I want to try and cover the basics and the masses. So, and go from there. So anyway, so now what I'd like to do is I'd like to touch on a couple third-party applications. Now, I know when we did calendar, I briefly covered Task, right? Google Task is one of the things that Google kind of lacks. So, they're kind of falling behind. They never really did anything with it. However, there's a product called GQs, and it's kind of a play on word because I think it's funny, right? Because if you think of GQ, you think of, well-manicured, good-looking men. And then in this realm, you have the nerd community in that, and they wear stripes and plaids and pocket protectors. But the G is for Google and Q is for keeping things in line. So it's kind of a play on words I thought was pretty clever. Anyway, so with GQs is a task management software that is really robust. I mean, it does a lot of things, right? So I got like today, and like I said, I don't use this day in and day out. But let me rephrase that. I use it all the time, but this is my demo account. So if I do in a week, So overdue, I usually have overdue, right? So these are like, say, this is what a queue would look like, right? So when I logged into my account this morning, I got these reminders, right? So this says meet. So I had a meeting. So I had a meeting at 1313 Mockingbird Lane, but that was in 2014, right? So and I assigned it to a guy, Joe. That's Joe Zom. That would have been a class, and that was an email. So we'll actually do that. So would someone send me an email to Rob at wantmoreleads.com? Rob. So I'll type it into the chat box. Rob at wantmoreleads.com, and then and I'll kind of show you a couple little tricks that this thing does, because we did do the one trick where I think if we did let's see Scott sent a rev receipt, we were able to do more, and we were able to create an event. So you can create an event just out of Google straight up. Okay, that we covered that in the calendar session. But now we're going to do the what do you call it? So actually, I can just take Scott's email here. Mark it as unread, and then if it's, because this is an important email. So if you recall, I have my important email show up the top. Excuse me. So let's say I have an email and I have to act on this email, right? So you're like, okay, and if your inbox can get buried, So, and I get it. Somebody sends you an important email that you need to actually do something. They either meet with them or call them or some type of action. So if you open it up, and then if you have GQs installed, and then there's the GQs functions that get installed in your account. So right here, I hit create task. So when I hit create task, the little window pops up it popped up on the screen. So what'll happen is I'll get this, so I can assign it to what. So a queue is like an inbox, to do, call. Those are queues, right? And then you can create queues based on properties. So if you have a task, if it's something like that. So let's just say I have to do something. So I put to do, right? And then the email subject line is the description of the task. So we can leave that there. One of the things I like to do is, especially if it's a phone call, even if it's not, it's a to-do, I like to actually just put their phone number in the subject line, So you just do it, and then that way it's there if you need it, and then you can make notes, right? And then it says link to this email, and watch what that does. Then we can come down here and put a due date. So I'm going to put to due date today. Then I'm going to say set a time right now. So I'll say 10:30. And then it's you can set the duration. Then you say it's a 15-minute activity. Then you say give me a reminder. You say pop up. So give me a 15-minute pop up. Let's just say a 30-minute pop up. That way we'll get it. It'll pop up in a second. So as we're there, now we can add tags. Tags are for deeper organizations, right? So let's say you have multiple things going on that are business. Like I would tag. I used to tag RAG. That stood for Rob Aubrey Group, meaning those were things that were Rob Aubrey real estate agent related. They're both business, Then I would have AAA, which was Aubrey and Associates. So in other words, if I were following up with an agent on something, that would be AAA. If it were a real estate client transaction, then it would be RAG. And you could do all kinds of different things like that. So you can assign it to a person. If you assign it to a person, you type their email address in there. So I'm going to type in Amy at Find Utah Properties. Amy's going to get it. Actually, let me do another one. Let me send it into Rob at Aubrey.net, right? Let's see. So then that way I can show you. So Rob at Aubrey.net. And then so I add that task. So I assign that task to two people. So now I hit create task. So a couple things this will do. So this is where it gets really cool, because this is one of the ways you can keep your inbox clean, right? So because I have this, right? So because I created an event, I can now archive that email. That email is no longer in my inbox, right? But it is on my, let's go here. So continue editing. Let's just hit save, invite external guests. All right, we'll just do it, Scott. That must have been open from the last time. Don't send. Okay. So there it is. So there's the event, right? So it's now on my calendar. So I don't need it. So it's no longer in my inbox, but it is on my calendar. And if I open up the calendar event, edit, the link to the email is there, right? There's the email if I need it. But even better yet, if I go over to GQs and I hit do today, right? There's my task that are due today. So there's my task. It shows me it's due today. Shows me who I assigned the task to. There's the email. So you don't need the email in your inbox. If I click on the link, it'll actually open up the email. Because remember, the email didn't get deleted. It just is no longer in the inbox view. That's all that is. The email still exists. The URL for the email didn't change, right? So I just got what did I get? Oh, Rev Receipt. I just got the reminder. Let's see. So it won't move. Yeah, so I just got a reminder over on my Robin. There it is. So because I had the calendar open, so there the reminder popped up. So there's that one. That one's a pretty cool tool. And that's pretty cool. Now watch this. So if I go back to my queue, right, and then the premium version, the free version doesn't synchronize the way this does. So it's $25 a year. So if I click done, right, so now it's no longer due today because I marked done. Now if I go back to my calendar, it put a little checkbox on my calendar. So that's pretty cool. So now you got it done, right? So now that's a handy little bugger. There's another calendar tool I forgot real quick. Let's see, getting text messages. All right, nope. So I have another little calendar tool I like. It's called, let me see, what is that puppy called? Let's see, let's do this. Let's minimize that. So, yeah, about me. Holy cow, I can't find the name of it. So here's the URL. I'll send the URL out to the group right now, but I'll show you what it does. It's a pretty cool little tool. It kind of adds a little features to your existing calendar as far as like reminders and snooze. So here's the website. You can read that, and then it's got let's see, home. God, I hate those ugly ads. So these are Chrome add-ons you can do. Checker Plus for Google Drive. So like that'll show you like which files have been updated and that kind of stuff. Checker Plus for Gmail. Checker Plus for Google Calendar. This one's pretty slick. So this is let's see. This is my Rob Aubrey account. So on my Rob Aubrey account, I have an icon up here. So right there, all I had to do was hover over that icon. It shows me my events for the day. Right? Check it out. And you can modify that to how many events it'll show you, like one day, a week, or whatever, right? So that's pretty cool little tool. Then if you click on it, let's see, then a calendar pops up. So you can actually view your calendar from any Chrome screen that you're logged into on that account. So that's something worth checking out. Checker Plus, I sent that link. Go ahead and open that up. But they got other features in there that are pretty slick. That's that one. How many people have created multiple Chrome accounts, right? So the way multiple Chrome accounts, you go into Chrome, you go to settings, right? Chrome, you go to the three bars of settings, right? And then you go down to accounts. These are all different accounts I can log into. So like, for example, this is my roofing contractor. I'm his IT guy, you know. So there's some other people. This is an agent in California. I was her IT guy. You know, things like that. So, and then the multiple accounts I have, another agent in Washington that you know, I'm the guy they scream, you know, when I get 911 beeps, you know, and text messages. So, and then of course, you know, they went to every tech support. And then if it's Google, I log in, I fix it. So anyway, but you can create, right? You can add new boxes. You can add new accounts, right? Add a person. So if you have more than one Gmail account, you can just click add and create a new Gmail account. So, or a new Chrome account. So what that does is, so right now this is Rob Aubrey, Rob at Aubrey's email, right? But if I can right click and then go down to one more leads, boom, and my one more lead account. Now when I open up one more leads, so when I go and open up one more leads, it's as if I logged into a totally different computer. It gives me all the bookmarks are there, and I have it set up to search in. So if you go look at settings, it'll show you what I have. So appearance, right? So let's see, show home. Where's the only show? So so in this link right here, open specific pages. So when you click on that, these are the pages that will open up the first time I fire up Chrome. So the first time I fire up Chrome, basically I want Google Apps. I want my email, I want my contacts, my tasks, my calendar, my my Drive, and then this is the login to the website. So that's how you do it. You set it up. So each account has its own specific what do you call it, login or pages that open. Now, if I open up another instance of Chrome, it'll just be the home page in that account. So as long as I'm in One More Leads, I open up Chrome one more time from One More Leads, log in, then it'll just show me another one. So another tool I want to show you real quick. I don't have it installed on this one, but I'm going to show it to you on my rob@aubrey.net account. So let's say you're doing a CMA, right? So if you're going to do a CMA, you're going to want to open up the MLS, right? So you go to the MLS, boom, right? Then you're going to go, I want Google Maps, right? So I want maps.google. So this is right, because you need to see the map. Then you want so then you can, so now that you're logged in, what about over here? So you go to search, then you go to tax data, right? So you can open up tax data, and so you can either do this, open up a new tab there, and then scroll down and do tax data, right? So that's a handy little bugger, right? So now I'm logged in. That's because if you look at the URL, utahrealestate.com/tax data, right? Then you got utahrealestate.com homepage. Now I have my own quick search, right? So I created my own search page that just has all the fields that I require, and then all the fields are there, but from the quick search, this is what exists. So then I could save that one, right? This is a custom form, and then let's say I want to go to property landing, which is the old used to be New Reach. This is a third-party county recorder site. So then I log in, and then it says I'm logged in already. So great. So I was logged in earlier on a different. Let's see. So I don't know what happened to it. Yeah. So anyway, but anyway, so I can save that there, right? So now if I have this tool, and this is the tool right here. This is an extension. It's called Tab Cloud. Tab Cloud. This thing rocks. Okay. Because how many times do you do something that requires you to have multiple web pages to do that function, right? So if I go to Tab Cloud, let's see, and I want to do a CMA. Every time I do a CMA, I open up all these tabs. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Tab Cloud. I'm going to click on it, right? And then right here, it's showing me these are the tabs that are open, right? Let's see, that one. I don't know what that is. That oh, that's a different. No, what's that? That's not this tab. Let's see. Why am I? It's got to be somewhere down there, right? Network. Let's see. Ancient company stats. Oh, right here. Here it is. So here's what I have open. So the to utahrealestate.com, right? That one's the quick search. That's the county. There's the map, and there's property landing, right? So I come over here and I go click the name, so I can name it. So I'll say it's CMA2 because I already have CMA, right? Then I come over here and I hit save. Right, I hit save, so now it's named, right? So I close there. So now I'm gonna open this up, and I'm gonna close that other one. I'm gonna delete all those, right? And then where's I can do it right from here, right? So I'm just gonna click a new tab, and then I'm gonna pull this like that, and then oh no, that's One More Lead, sorry. So where did that? There it goes, right? So there's rob@aubrey.net logged in to logged into rob@aubrey.net. The Tab Cloud's there. I just click on that. I scroll down. I go to CMA2. I hit plus, and boom, it opens up a new instance of Chrome. And then because I'm still logged into the MLS, it pulled up those MLS pages, and it pulled up Google Maps, pulled up property landing. So, I mean, it actually pulled up all those pages for me. And if you're logged in, all you have to do is log into the first one, and then hit refresh on the second ones, and you'll be logged in all those pages. So pretty slick. That's a handy little bugger. SadCloud. God, that's one of my favorites. Because I have multiple things, I mean, if I'm doing recruiting, I have, I want to open up the division of real estate, the MLS, there's multiple things I want to look at if I'm looking at potentially talking to an agent. So, and things like that I have for running stats, so it's just a pretty handy tool. Bookmark certain page, a group of pages. Anyway, so that's that. I'm trying to think of any other. Let's see what else I got up here. Dictionary. This is a handy little bugger. My gosh, anybody have this one? It's if you just go to so the way you find somebody is you go to settings, or actually if you go to more tools, you can go to extensions, right? So Chrome / extensions will take you to the page. So these are the extensions I have installed, and every once in a while log in there and look. Sometimes you have malware installed. It's a Chrome extension. It's a pain in the butt. So if you click here, it says get more extensions. Then you can go and search, right? So it's kind of like a Google Play Store. You can search by Google, free, all kinds of stuff, right? And just do like tools, right? So kind of navigate through in there. You'll find stuff that's just pretty cool, right? So like I said, but so let's go to like say Wikipedia, right? So let's go to Wiki. So Wikipedia, right? So I just want to find a page with a lot of text on it, right? So let's search, but anyway, here was a page somebody I was reading this earlier, right? The 6 words in Greek language that equal love in English, right? So let's say you got dictionary. So if there's a word you're not sure of, right? So if there's a word you're not sure of, if you have this dictionary extension installed on your browser, if you double click on a word, boom, right? Watch what happens, right? Look at that. A little definition pops out. A little definition, a little, dictionary definition pops up and gives it to you. Then you can actually go and click on more, and it takes you right to the dictionary. It's pretty slick. Some of them even have, audio. I'm looking for one. See right there, it's got a little. So if you see a word, you're like, yeah, I'm not sure. And if you click on it, I don't know if you'll hear it in my microphone. Yeah, it just says shock, But like some words, that you're not sure how to pronounce it. And, and let's see if it'll give you the Greek word, right? Yeah, it doesn't give you the definition. I mean, it doesn't give you the audio. But what a handy little bugger that is, right? GQs, you can add GQs extension if you're using that. So what this will do is, let's say you find a great web page you like, you click on the GQs extension, and then you can create a task. You can say from the web page, so it'll put the URL in the notes, right? It'll give you the subject line, which will be kind of like whatever is up here, I think. No, it's going to give you more than that. It's giving you what's in, so if you hover over the page title, it gives you all that. The ancient Greek 6-word, blah, blah, blah. So that becomes a subject line, and then you can, change it to what task. You can say, read or something like that. If you got things to read, right, you can just say to do, and then you can leave it there, and you can do a date and everything and assign it. So let's just put today's date, and then we'll just put today. We'll put, no time, and you can even take dates off. It disappeared. So you can create let's say just a queue that's called to read, right? And then you just lay it in there, and then we'll put it in the to do for now with no reminder or no date, and then we do from the web page, and then there we hit task, and then when we go to I was wrong page logged in. Oops. So that was logged in. We weren't in the the One More Lead site. So we'll do it here. So then that way I can show it to you. You get the gist of it though. So there's the page. So if I create the task, it's got to connect. So anyway, let's see. You got to give it permission. It's now linked. Close. So now it's linked. So we're keeping somebody up back there. So I'm just going to put to do, and then we hit create, and then so there it is. It'll be in my to do box, and then there it is. It's got a link to the web page, and then you can check it off. You can send it to somebody else right from here. Pretty slick little tool. There's a handy little tools that are just out there to use, just all the time. You got that are just handy, little buggers. Wikipedia one is pretty cool. That's another little doohickey I have installed here, so I can just click on Wiki. So I guess manage extension, I may have turned it off. So, but so what it would do is, instead of going and typing in Wikipedia, you would just go here, and it gives you a little search box, and then you would just type in the question or the thing you want to search, and then it would pull it right up. You didn't have to actually go to the website and do it. So, and I believe also too, if that one in there has that, that there was a right click. Just one of them gives you a right click. Let's see. Let's go to one of these pages where you had text. Let's go to support. Let's look for some text. I think. So let's see the possible. So if you right click and then search, yeah, see, with the Wikipedia extension installed, you can double click, and then even though it gives you the double click, double click will highlight the word. Then if you right click on it, and then it goes right there, you can actually search Wikipedia right from here. So you can either search Google or you can search Wikipedia. Pretty slick. Pretty slick. So those are just little things you can really do to make yourself efficient and just stay organized too. But boy, efficiency, let's do some basic math, right? If you figured out how to save 20 minutes a day, right? 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes times 5 days a week, that's 100 minutes a week. Let's say you take off 4 weeks for vacation and education, right? So times 48 weeks, that's 4,800 minutes. Divide that by 60 minutes, 60 equals how many hours? That's 80 hours a year you can add to your spare time just by learning to save 20 minutes a day. Or if you are making $100,000 a year, right? $100,000 a year, and you're killing yourself, and you become more efficient, right? Just by being a little more efficient, you can either take more time off, or if you're doing 100,000 a year, divide by 12, that's 8.3 divided by 2, because you can add another $4,100 of revenue, or literally just have more time off, right? It's up to you. But all that takes is a minor tweak of efficiency and of 20 minutes a day, and you have generated 80 hours a year. That's huge. Learn to obsess over small time savings. Learn to obsess over those. By doing that, you will save yourself a lot of time. So anyway, questions, thoughts. I mean, I'm going to get going here. I know I've been on there about 45 minutes. I try to definitely keep them to a half hour or more, but I think we covered a lot of good stuff here. Also, by a show of hands, we were going to do something. Scott, can you unmute, please? Scott, you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Scott, remember you said we had we would ask that question of, we would do the poll, a poll. What were we going to poll the agents?
For Design Mantic and branding.
Oh, yeah. So the way we did the tax thing, right? So I had this idea, right? Because as I talk to agents, I coach agents, right? What you need is a look, right? You need a look, and it doesn't have to be ultra fancy, right? Ultra fancy. There's so I consider the idea of maybe let's do a session. There's a website called Design Mantic. Is that what it is, Scott?
MANTIC, Mantic. Design Mantic. Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you real quick. So the question we want to do is, and I don't know how we would do it as far as a group session, but so Design Mantic, let's put in your name, right? So I'm going to put in Rob Aubrey, right? And then select your industry. So we're going to go down to real estate, right? Real estate and rental, show my design, right? So check this out. So it's created all these little logos, and there's 10 pages plus, right? So if anybody knows Scott's Blue Raver, there it is, boom, right? So you got all these little designs, that you could do, and then you can just do your last name if you want, right? So let's take out last name and see if it updates. Maybe it'll change. So and then you could do a slogan. Um, you know, put a slogan, stuff like that, right? And then and it gives you these little designs. So one of the things, but the key is, right, the key, because part of SOI marketing is branding, right? You lead generate the world, but you brand your SOI. So, and then our goal is to brand our SOI and try and extract referrals out of them. So, but one of the things that are consistent, that you need to be consistent with an SOI, is to have a brand, right? Now, it doesn't need to be, Madison Avenue budget type thing. It just has to be consistent. So anyway, so I thought of the way we did taxes, where we all did, and I'm going to bring it up in next week's office meeting too, but by using the chat box, would you be interested in having a session to where I potentially hire somebody, bring them in, or at least we all sit down? Scott's very familiar with this product. But the idea is that we need to build a flow where, part of me says I may do it to where I create a postcard look, a business card look, create a postcard, a business card, and a yard sign, and then temporary yard signs to, let's say you want to scatter around the neighborhood. So, and if you had them all the same, and as you're doing marketing, people will start to recognize you. And then also remarketing, you're all familiar with remarketing. Remarketing is when you search something on the internet, and then you go to other websites, and you see the ad everywhere, right? So that's called remarketing. You could actually create remarketing ads based on that same look. So if you send out a mailer to just listed, right, and then say, or just sold, hey, we sold this home, boom, and then you got your look, you got the sign that was in the yard when you had the listing up, then you got a just listed postcard, then a just sold postcard. Anybody clicks on the website, they start to see the ad, right? They start to see the ad with the same look. Right? I want to sit down and say, look, I know telling you guys is great. You guys are all going, that is awesome. And the only thing it'll do is be a recording. So because I know that's why I did the taxes the way I did. It's a good idea to be incorporated. Great. I sat you down in a room and incorporated you. So Amy, so by a show of hands, or saying yes, would you be interested in if I put that meeting together? So I got one yes, and I'll bring it up at office meeting next week. And I got to find out today. Hopefully, I'll find out today. We'll be on alert office meeting, maybe at guaranteed rate next week. I think our conference room at the office suite is kind of too small. So anyway, so I got to make those arrangements today. So anyway, so that was something I was thinking of that I think would be a good idea for us. I mean, to just develop a look. I mean, it's not a big deal, right? It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be ultra Madison Avenue budget. Let's just get something and then be consistent. So we'll talk about it again more on next Tuesday. There was one other thing. Don't forget, we got to invite your class, invite your sphere of influence. Hey, don't be afraid to post it on Facebook. Hey, how to buy a HUD home, right? Take the email, the information in the email, time, place, and date. How to buy a HUD home, right? Invite, post it on Facebook. We send a letter to your SOI for those that are on the SOI mailer. Your SOI got the mailer. Gary Parker called me yesterday and thanked me for making him more busy. He gets more phone calls now because people are calling him up. Hey, I want to go to the HUD home class, right? So so the idea is, he's gonna, it's working, right? People are reading this stuff. So this weekend, the our postcard will go out. Make sure, So anyway, so that's the thing. We got everything going. We can start building your look, and then we can do more and more. But the whole idea is let's get the foundation built, and then we can actually add the types of marketing you do on it. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to take off, guys. This session has been recorded. I'm going to turn the recording off. Stop recording.